Namaste, my fellow shinobi. Holy Materia here, back with another Naruto video. Today we're going to be talking about the philosophy of Gaara, so let's get right into it. This is my second video in the Philosophy of series. First, I just want to say thank you to all the supporters who watched the last video on Haku and who are watching this one. I know these are a little bit different from my normal Shinobi Striker content, but I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these and leaving in-depth comments to respond to some of the ideas in these. I really enjoy engaging with you guys on these kinds of topics, and I hope you enjoy it too. So today's question, what is love? Many philosophies and religions have tried to answer this question over the course of human history, but it's one of the most difficult concepts to define. In Symposium, Plato defines love as that which leads people to the highest good. From the love of other people, we turn to considering love itself and its source, the divine. In various religions, it is often said that God is love, but that's outside the scope of this video. For now, let's consider what love meant to Gaara, my second favorite character in the series. Like many adversaries in Naruto, Gaara has a tragic backstory. He is the one-tailed Jinchuriki. The demon spirit of the Shukaku resides within him, just as the nine-tailed fox resides in Naruto. Unlike Naruto, who became a Jinchuriki shortly after birth, the Shukaku was placed within Gaara while he was still in his mother's womb, and she died during childbirth because of it. Gaara was meant to be the secret weapon of the village hidden in the sand, but the Shukaku made him psychologically unbalanced. Not only was he unable to sleep soundly, but the sand protected Gaara from every potential injury, so he never experienced physical pain growing up. This made him unable to really empathize with other people, and although he always tried to treat others with kindness, he did not realize when he was hurting them. The people in the sand village feared Gaara, just as the people of the leaf feared Naruto. But because even the children of the sand knew of the demon spirit within Gaara, he was left completely alone. Although he never knew physical pain, he began to experience emotional pain due to his isolation. His father, though protective, was always distant, and the only person Gaara had was his caretaker and uncle, Yashimaru. Yashimaru tells Gaara that he believes the sand protects him because it is the will of his mother, and that she wanted to protect him even in death. He also explains that pain of the heart can be even worse than a physical wound, that it can be more difficult or even impossible to heal. Yashimaru says that the only thing that can heal the heart is love, and that love is the care and devotion you feel for the precious people around you. Gaara is comforted by this, and although he still struggles with isolation, he at least has Yashimaru and the idea of his mother's love. When it becomes clear that Gaara cannot control the Shukaku, his father, the 4th Kazekage, orders his assassination. Many attempts are made on Gaara's life, but the sand always protects him. In Gaara's mind, although the world seems to be against him, he still has the love and protection of his mother. Finally, another attempt is made on Gaara's life, and the assailant turns out to be Yashimaru, the one living person who has ever cared for Gaara. And with his dying words, he tells Gaara that not only does he not love him, but Gaara was never loved by his mother either. Yashimaru tells Gaara that his mother named him Gaara, meaning self-loving carnage, because of her hatred for the village that ultimately caused her demise. This is the breaking point for Gaara. In his total despair, he uses his sand to etch the kanji for love into his forehead and vows to love only himself and to live only for himself. This is Gaara's ideology when we first meet him. Because he has no love from others, he needed to find a reason to exist. With no one to guide him, the answer he finds for himself, the meaning of his life, becomes taking the lives of others. When Naruto hears this, he is paralyzed with fear. He realizes that this monster before him could have easily been him. If Haruka-sensei never stood up for him, if he didn't find companionship in Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi, he could have gone down this same path, come to this same conclusion. At the beginning of his fight with Gaara, Naruto believes that he cannot defeat Gaara because Gaara's way is stronger than his. He believes that fighting only for himself and loving only himself has made Gaara much stronger than he can be. It's only after Naruto remembers Haku's words, that only when we are protecting those who are precious to us do we become genuinely strong, that Naruto begins to believe in himself. In defeating Gaara, Naruto proves that love of others is stronger than the love of self alone. This fight, like many others in the series, is a battle of ideals, and Naruto's ideal wins out. we find out that selfless love of others, the desire to protect those who are precious, is stronger than a selfish love for only oneself. Gaara usually presents a cool, calm face to the world that feigns indifference, but underneath his reserved exterior is a passion that burns deeply. We first see this when his sand armor breaks against lead and his slasher smile is revealed beneath the expressionless mask he was wearing. Because Gaara feels no love from or towards others, his passion has become negative, leading to a psychopathic thirst for the blood of others. Themes of loneliness are explored heavily throughout the series, with the two main characters, Naruto and Sasuke, both growing up without their families. But in the character of Gaara, the consequences of isolation are taken to their most extreme. Gaara's loneliness was complete. Gaara didn't just become a delinquent kid like Naruto. He saw a glimmer of himself in the eyes of the Avenger Sasuke, but even Sasuke, a character whose main drive in life was to take the life of another, could not relate to the extreme case of Gaara. Gaara didn't just want revenge on a single person or group who had wronged him. He turned his back on humanity as a whole and lost his own humanity in the process, and as a result, lost his ability to love, even himself. So although Gaara asserts that he only loves himself, he is in fact a person who is completely devoid of love, and without love, he has become a shell of a human, much like his sand armor. While physically, its protection is absolute, it could not protect him mentally or emotionally. It couldn't protect his heart. In the beginning, Gaara is what a loveless creature would look like, seemingly indifferent on the surface, apparently devoid of feeling, but in actuality, he is yearning so intensely for love and affection that he makes it his purpose to snuff out the lives of others, the lives of those who do have love. He is a creature consumed by jealousy, and without love, it is impossible for him to feel compassion for others. Throughout the series, Naruto is able to reach his enemies with the power of his compassionate words and change their hearts and minds, but most of those adversaries end up dying shortly after Naruto reaches them. Gaara is one of the few characters in the series that Naruto really saves. After being changed by Naruto, Gaara goes on to live a full and better life. He remains calm and collected on the surface, but his passion still runs deep. Only now he passionately wants to be needed by others, much like Haku. This new positive passion, this love, is extended to his entire village, leading him to become the 5th Kazekage, and he even eventually sacrifices himself for the sake of protecting his people. The bond between Naruto and Gaara, two shinobis from different villages, inspired Granny Chiyo to save Gaara's life by sacrificing her own after the Akatsuki extracted the Shukaku from his body. Gaara's compassion ends up rivaling that of Naruto's. At the 5 Kage summit, he speaks to Sasuke with so much understanding and empathy about the darkness that loneliness breeds, a darkness they have both experienced. It was as good as any talk no jutsu from Naruto, but at that point Sasuke was doing silly things for the sake of the plot. Because of his compassion, Gaara was able to truly unify the United Shinobi Alliance with his speech during the 4th Great Ninja War. He says that hatred cannot exist between those who have shared the same pain, and they all know pain from the Akatsuki. But more than simply rallying the Shinobi Alliance against a common enemy, Gaara asked for their help in protecting someone who is precious to him, his first friend, Naruto Uzumaki. The pinnacle of Gaara's character arc is during his fight with his reanimated father when he learns the truth. His mother did love him, does love him, and she always will. Even in death, and even after the Shukaku was removed from his body, the sand still protects him. His mother's love still shields him. Gaara really was love all along. They say that hate is not actually the opposite of love, but indifference is the opposite of both. Love and hate are two sides of the same coin. In his youth, Gaara was the embodiment of hate, a jealous, bloodthirsty monster. After he was saved by Naruto and realized how his mother really felt about him, he became the epitome of love, a compassionate leader who quietly inspired those around him. Despite his calm exterior, Gaara was never indifferent. That facade was just an armor he wore to protect himself from the outside world. That armor, that absolute defense, never broke. But as he grew, so too did his armor, until it was able to envelop those who were precious to him as well. For in the Naruto series, Gaara is love. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. I really appreciate all your support so much. Everybody stay safe out there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love. For anyone who's interested, I wanted to share a little personal story and give you guys some insight into why Gaara is my second favorite character in the series. There's probably no other character I identify with more than Gaara in the Naruto universe. My mother left me when I was a baby, so right off the bat, after seeing Gaara's backstory, he resonated with me. I never felt loved by my mother either, and I understood the kind of feelings of abandonment and isolation that come along with that. I was a troubled kid for a long time because of it. Not on Gaara's level, but still. I still vividly remember the first time I read the issue when Gaara is fighting his father during the 4th grade ninja war. I was in college at the time, and about a week or so before I read it, I received a message from my mother. I hadn't spoken to her in many years, and I had recently written a song about her. She must have heard it because in the message she told me that she had always loved me. I can't describe the feelings of relief and reassurance I had, but I didn't really react much to it in that moment. A week or so later, as I was reading that issue, let me tell you, my face looked just like Gaara's in that famous panel. There's a reason that scene is featured so prominently in my intro. It really affected me, and Gaara's whole character has always been special to me ever since, beyond just being one of my favorites. His story really resonates with me on a deeply profound level. Love connects each and every one of us, and I truly believe it's the reason we are all here. So go out there and love each other. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love. See, peace, Haku, the pacifist, and love, Gaara. That may or may not be a retcon, but still. Peace and love.